Your voice, your vote, and the winner of the Democratic primary for Michigan's U.S. Senate seat, Democrat Abdul El-Sayed, will be running against Republican Mike Rogers in November. Mike Rogers ran unopposed in his primary yesterday. The race between El-Sayed and his opponent, Haley Stevens, was too close to call until this morning. El-Sayed won the primary by less than 15,000 votes. Stevens won big in eastern counties like Macomb and Oakland, as well as rural areas, while El-Sayed brought in large margins of voters in Washtenaw County, which includes the college town of Ann Arbor, and he won Kent County. 13 on your side's Jordan Hatfield joins us now with a look at what influenced West Michigan Democrats. Jordan.
Juliet, well, Abdul El-Sayed hails from the east side of the state. He actually did quite well here in Kent County. However, in Muskegon County, it was a different story. Experts and officials tell me it's not just the difference in their messages, but also how they campaigned. Abdul El-Sayed taking the Democratic nomination for Michigan's open U.S. Senate seat after a real neck-and-neck race with Representative Haley Stevens. El-Sayed, a former Wayne County health official, saw more votes go to Stevens in his home county, but meanwhile, to the west, he had a surge of support in Kent County.
Kent County, I think, has some unique demographics or distinctive demographics, and all of them, I think, pulled within toward El-Sayed.
Among those factors, higher education, paired with more and more young voters living in the area.
El-Sayed did the best in the well-educated, higher educated counties and cities. Washtenaw with Ann Arbor and University of Michigan is the major example of that, but Kent County is not unlike that in a sort of mini way.
But to the north in Muskegon County, Haley Stevens saw more support despite her more centrist platform.
The Muskegon demographic is the old traditional coalition of the Democratic Party, labor unions and civil rights leaders.
Muskegon County Clerk Karen Bowie says part of that has to do with her messaging. What part of her message do you think really resonated in Muskegon County?
I think it was the fact that she was more pro-Israel, the fact that she had worked closely with Obama, working in Detroit for the auto industry. This being a industrial town, they probably connected with her a little bit better.
Not to mention how she approached Muskegon County.
She spent a lot of time in Muskegon County. Boots on the ground really helped her.
Whereas El-Sayed capitalized on social media.
A younger voter will expect sort of an electronic, a Zoom call, and those are really the part of their lives and they've always grown up with, whereas an older voter might want the personal touch.
Now that he has the nomination, El-Sayed may need to adjust his strategy to align both to the traditional Democrats and those who lean more progressive.
I would expect a little more traditional campaigning by El-Sayed, including the fact that he will now have a lot of the Democratic establishment working with him. Together they hopefully, can secure the seat.
Now to El-Sayed's Republican challenger Mike Rogers. Professor Koopman says Rogers' strategy is already looking to deter Democratic voters from going out to the polls. That's something that Muskegon County Clerk Karen Bowie says she's already starting to see, especially after President Donald Trump name-dropped the county in a speech earlier this summer.